Hi everybody and welcome back. Today I want to show you how I create my fancy fonts using different swashes and things like that. So here's one that I have already created, and as you can see it has all the different swashes and lines coming down and the heart and all of this. So what I want to do is show you how I do this. What you will need is you will need to be in Design Space, okay? And you will also need to download MainType 10.0, the free edition. I'm dealing with the free edition. Okay, so it is totally free to use. So what you need to do, go ahead and download MainType. I'm not sure if it works on with Apple or not. I'm using Windows. I know definitely it works on Windows because that's what I'm using right now. So to get started, you're going to have your Cricut open, and I'll leave this here so that way you can use as a reference. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is go to text. Okay, we're going to need to type the name that you're going to be working with. So this is the name I'm going to be working with. And of course you can move your letters closer together. Go to letter space and just space them closer together. And eventually we're going to be deleting some of these letters, but for right now you just want to see how it looks and if it's in the way that you want it to look. Okay, I have the name. Let me make sure I spelled it correctly. Yes, I did. Okay, so next thing I'm going to need to do is go back to MainType. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to first I'm going to go to the A. Okay, so I'm going to pick out this A. So I'm going to go find the A. And when you're using MainType, you have to know which of your fonts has a lot of different swashes and fanciness going on for you. Okay, so my go-to always is Acrobat because I know it has a lot of different fanciness to it. Let's say that. You can go to other ones. They may not be as fancy as you would prefer. Okay. Some of them may be very basic to where they have nothing at all for you. Okay. Just take a look at this one. This one has hearts. Okay. So you just have to know which of your fonts does have extras. Let's put it like that. So I know Acrobat is what I'm looking for. So with Acrobat, I'm going to go ahead and find me an A. I'm going to find the A that I just used because that's the A that I want to go with. Okay. So you just have to pretty much scroll through and see and pick out what you prefer to use. And sometimes this can, I'm not going to even lie, it could take you hours because you may switch out different ones to see how it look. I know that's exactly what I do. I switch out different ones. Oh, do I like this one? Nah, not really. Let me pick something different. Okay. So here I'm just going to look for that A. There goes the A that I'm looking for. What you'll do now, okay, this is the A that I want. You click it. Okay. Now this turned blue. Right click. This box will come up. You're going to go to copy to clipboard. Okay, click copy to clipboard, go back to design space. Okay, in design space, go to text. And another thing you need to make sure of is when you're in design space, when you click text, another text box, make sure it is the same font, because if you're using a different font and that font doesn't have the same swash as the one you're looking for, it's because you're not at the same font. Okay, so we are at Acrobat. So now what all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go Control V. Okay, you see that box just pop up, and there it goes. Okay, so this is the A that I was looking for. So what I do is before I delete anything, I just kind of go and put it on top just to see. You never know, you might not like the way it looks. Okay, so I'm going to put that A there. I'm going to come in and I'm going to find let's work with the T now. Okay, so I'm going to go find this T. So I'm going to go back to MainType, and I'm going to find that T. And again, I have already created this, so I know what I'm looking for. You may not have already created one. So this is your first time do it. You just need to play with it and see what you want to use. Okay, this is the T that I wanted to use. Okay, copy to clipboard. Go back to design space. Go to text, Control V. Okay, and here it is. So I'm going to put it over my T just because I want to take a look at how everything is coming out. Okay, now I'm going to go to my L because that's the L that I have here. So I'm going to go back to MainType, find my L. Okay, that's the L right there. So only thing I did was click it. It turns blue. Right click, copy to clipboard, go back to design space. Go to text, Control V, Okay, now that's the L. What if I didn't want that L? Okay, what if I want to see, do I want that L or do I want to look for a different L? You'll go back to main type. Let's find a different L. Maybe I just don't want that L. Maybe it's doing too much for you and you don't want that one. Let's go find a different L. Here's another L. Let's see how this one comes out. And sometimes you have to give it a minute until it pops up. Okay, this one's kind of cute also. But sometimes you have to look at it because look at that I. Okay, when I move it, look how it's kind of interfering with the I and the N. So I would say this will be a perfect one if you just had it at the end and there were no more letters. Then that would be perfect. Okay, but I think it's kind of obstructing everything else that you have going on. Okay, so let's just keep that there. Let's move on. So now I have my N. I just need a plain N, or sometimes if you want to go with something, some bigger loops or things like that at the end, let's use this N just to see. Okay, there goes the N. We could do something like that also. So then you just kind of stop what you're doing, kind of look at it. You may want to take something else off. Like me, I don't really like the way this N looks. It reminds me of a snail or something. So I'm not really fond of that N. So I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to find me another N. Let's see what other kind of N's it has for me. Here's a plain N, but I want something more. Okay, here's another N, but it's going the opposite direction. Okay, here's another N that has, and you can click it, just has squiggly lines. Not really fond of that one. So this is the N I want to go with. Again, click it, right click, copy to clipboard, go back to design space. And because I'm not using this N, let's just double click it, backspace, get rid of it, and Control V. Or you could have went back to text and did it that way. Either way, it's the same. Okay, so I think that's what I want to do. So now what I need to do is I need the whole thing. So I always click at the beginning. So that way it will put a box over my whole word, the entire name that I begun with. And then I'm going to go to ungroup. Okay, you're going to ungroup it all. Because now you want to start weeding out all the letters you're not using. Okay, I'm not going to use that A because I'm going to use my fancy A. Okay, I'm not going to use this T because I want my fancy one. Okay, so now you're just weeding out the letters that you don't want. Okay, so now that I have removed all those, only thing I'm going to do now is I like to kind of adjust everything. Okay, so I'm going to move this T over just a little bit to where it still connects. I like my letters to connect. This A, I want to put under the I. Okay, I'm going to move my K over about right there. This about right there. And then I move my T over just a little, my L, I'm sorry. My L up a little. And then I have my I. And sometimes I just do this separate because you never know. You don't want it to look up and down, up and down. So you kind of just want them to be the same. And see, there we go. And then what you would do next is you will highlight everything. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you just put your finger down. I always start away from everything. Hold the button down on your mouse, your left button, drag it over everything. Okay. Once it's highlighted and has a box around it, you're going to go to group. Okay. So group, now everything is grouped together. Okay. Now it's one word. Okay. Now that it's grouped together, now I'm going to go down to weld. Weld is where it's going to weld it together to where when you get ready to cut it out or to make it, it's all going to be welded. So you won't have your letters all floating around on your mat. Okay, so now I'm going to go to weld. And the way you'll know that it's welded, weld is kind of like group, but it sticks it together. It makes sure it doesn't move. It says weld result. Okay. And so what I would just do now is you could either go like this and just exit all of them, or you can go one by one and exit. It's totally up to you, unless you're going to be working with another project on the same one. So now I'm just going to exit all of those because I don't need that. I'm going to go back here, and you can drag this out to see how big you want to print it out. Okay, and I'm doing a tumbler right now, and I'm doing a 20-ounce tumbler. So for my 20-ounce tumbler, it is a semi peekaboo. Okay, so I think, and it's going to be right at the top. So I want to go 5. I want to bring it out 5, and this says 5.433, and I already have 5 is going to be already big enough. So I'm going to go about 4.975. That's, and I just kind of noticed it on Design Space. When you print it anyways, it kind of comes out bigger than 5. I've kind of measured it, and I'm like, this is still kind of bigger than what I needed it. So I always kind of go a little bit under what exactly I need. So this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to get this printed out or cut out, and I'll just get rid of this one. And so only thing you would need to do now with this is go to make it. And again, I'm recording on my Mac, so it takes a little bit longer. Okay, so here it is right here. And then all thing I would do is I'm gonna cut this out on a gold chrome vinyl. Okay, so if I'm working with just one project and I don't need them color coded because I already know what I'm working with, I just kind of leave it black. Normally, if you're working with multiple things on Design Space on one screen, and you want to color code them so that way you'll know what color vinyl you need to use, you could also do that. But right now I know I'm using chrome, so, and I just have this one name. So then I will go to continue. And you'll know it's trying to talk to my Cricut right here. You can see it rolling around. Okay. So now here is where I'm going to be using, again, I'm using chrome. And if you've seen any of my tumblers, you'll know the chrome is the shiny silvers and golds that I use. Sometimes I've used the rose gold, and it's the really shiny. You can tell that it's different from regular vinyl because it's very shiny. It's the chrome vinyl. So for my chrome vinyl to cut appropriately, I prefer to go with premium vinyl holographic. And as you can see, I have mine star because these are ones that I always use. I mainly use, so I just keep them up here because they're on my favorites, okay? So I'm going to just click Premium Vinyl Holographic, okay? And so now my Cricut is blinking to let me know I can put it in there. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video here, and I will show you in another video how I completed other tumblers going with the full process. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.